Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at another 2023 release, this time from legendary guitarist John Scofield. And this is his newest recording, which is a double album for ECM Records, Uncle John's Band. So this is only the third ECM album that John Scofield has put out under his name, and it's a trio recording featuring longtime collaborator and drummer Bill Stewart and the newest member of the trio, Vicente Archer, on acoustic bass, who replaces longtime member Steve Swallow. Now, Uncle John's Band is, as I mentioned already, is a double recording, and it features a little bit of everything in terms of the material. There's some originals, there's also some covers and some standards as well. And I can honestly tell you now, in terms of trio, this is among John Scofield's best work to date, and certainly as good as any of the classic trio recordings that Scofield has put out in the past. And I have always said that John Scofield is at his very best when he's in this environment, guitar, bass, and drums. I feel this is where his guitar playing not only shines the brightest, but this is where his voice is at its most clearest and loudest. And it's a magnificent recording. I was very fortunate to catch this tour with this trio not too long ago, and it was an unbelievable show. All three musicians were on top form. Great guitar playing from Scofield as always, jaw-dropping drumming from Bill Stewart, and rock-solid bass work from Vicente Archer, who, in my opinion, all due respect to Stewart and Scofield, really shines the brightest on this album. And the bass playing on this album is just magnificent. So let's have a look. Let's see what we got. So there we are. There's each track for both discs. And as I said earlier, a lot of the compositions here, is a little bit of everything. There's some covers, there's some standards, and there's also some originals as well. So let's have a look. There we are. There are the tracks. There's a Magnificent Trio. And also here we've got a little breakdown of what each track is about. And just as before, there's a little breakdown of what each track is about. And of course production notes as well. So on disc 1 we've got Mr. Tambourine Man by Bob Dylan, How Deep by John Scofield, TV Band by John Scofield, Back in Time by John Scofield, Bordeaux by Miles Davis and Bud Powell, Nothing Is Forever by John Scofield, and Old Man by Neil Young. And a lot of the tracks are, they're quite fairly long, 9 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and 6 minutes, and 4 minutes. So, there's some quite lengthy pieces on disc 1. And then over on disc 2, we've got The Girlfriend Chord by John Scofield, Stairway to the Stars by Matt Molnek, Frank Sigournelli, and Mitchell Parish. And then Mo Green by John Scofield, Mask by John Scofield, Somewhere by Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim. And then we've got Ray's Idea by Raymond Brown and Gil Fuller. And then we've got the title track, Uncle John's Band, which is by Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter. So a lot of the tracks, they're quite fairly longish tracks, 7 minutes being the longest on this album. And also 6 minutes and 5 minutes, and the shortest track on this album is like 3 minutes. So, there's a bit of a mix up here, some fairly longish tracks and some quite shortish tracks, but some great material here as well. But I can honestly tell you now, this is a fantastic album. So, standout tracks for me on disc one are Mr. Tambourine Man, How Deep, Back in Time, and Nothing Is Forever. And then the standout tracks for me on disc two are Mo Green, Mask, Uncle John's Band, and The Girlfriend Chord. But some excellent playing from Scofield and Stewart. And as I said, Archer really, really stands out on this album. And if anyone who has seen the John Scofield Trio live, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Archer's bass play is just so massive and so thick, and he's got such a presence to him. But notwithstanding, not to say that Scofield and Stewart are slouches, because they're not, far from it. Bill Stewart, one of the all-time great drummers of the kit. His drumming is pitch perfect as always. Hasn't missed a single step or beat. He sounds amazing as always. John Scofield, as I said at the beginning, one of the greatest guitar players of all time, and unbelievable guitar work from Scofield. And as I said, he really shines the brightest in this environment. And same with Bill Stewart. I feel this is where he's at his absolute best in the trio. I do miss Steve Swallow, don't get me wrong, but Archer, although a very different bass player to Swallow, he more than makes up for that. And, at times he really does channel the spirit of Steve Swallow, but at the same time, he's very much his own man and a different kind of player. So there you have it. John Scofield, Uncle John's Band. Perhaps one of the best albums John Scofield has put out in quite a while. Certainly as good as any of his previous trio outings, and very, very enjoyable. All three men really shine brightly, but for me, the standout man of this trio, with all due respect to Scofield and Stewart, is Archer. He's just on another level, and probably one of the best bass players Scofield has had in his trio for quite some time now. He's a really good player, but as I said, great playing. All three musicians on top musical form. Excellent stuff here. So there you have it. John Scofield, Uncle John's Band. Excellent stuff. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite track from John Scofield, Uncle John's Band? Is it Mr. Tambourine Man, How Deep, TV Band, Back in Time, Bordeaux, Nothing Is Forever, Old Man, The Girlfriend Chord, Stairway to the Stairs, Mo Green, Mask, Somewhere, Ray's Idea, or the title track Uncle John's Band? And which disc do you prefer? Disc 1 or disc 2? Or do you enjoy the entire album? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks, and we also always have our favourite disc that we prefer over the other. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.